Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the Art of Strategic Goal Setting. This is going to be episode 5 of section 2, and in this episode, we'll be going over the different types of progress. So in the last episode, episode 4, we went over the 3 main categories that you can break down each task and action you take throughout your day into, and those categories were positive, neutral, and negative. And in today's video, we'll be further breaking down the positive tasks into a few different subcategories, which is why today's lesson is called the types of progress. As always, if you find something useful or entertaining in today's video, or you just want to help support this channel, please consider demolishing that like button down below. And a great way to make sure you don't miss the rest of the series to come, you might want to consider subscribing as well and turning on post notifications so you'll know immediately when the next episode drops. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So before we get into today's video, you might notice I'm not wearing a hat for the first time in a while on camera, and I actually ended up getting a haircut. If you guys saw me before, my hair was super long. I'll pop up an image right here. But enough on the hair, let's get into today's video. So as we went over in the last video, there's 3 different types of tasks: positive, neutral, and negative. And out of those tasks, you can break them down into subcategories. Now, I'm only going to be breaking down positive into subcategories since the other 2 are kind of easier to understand, and you're not really looking to evolve those different tasks. Whereas with positive tasks, you're really striving to optimize how you spend your time on those tasks, and you're also looking to evolve the way you do those, and also the different ways you approach those types of tasks. So how do we break down our positive tasks and actions? So like we went over before with the pie charts, we'll also be using a pie chart just for our positive tasks. So we'll have a data set for both our positive, neutral, and negative tasks, but we'll also have a nice graph right here, which will take that piece of the pie from the positive, neutral, negative chart, and we'll expand it into its own pie for just the positive tasks, which will break down into another 3 categories, which I'll go over now. So in basic terms, with your positive tasks, I break them down into 3 main categories. So like we went over in the last episode, positive tasks can be anything you do to either maintain your current lifestyle or level up in any area of your life, from physical to finance. So understanding that, our first category for positive tasks is our maintenance tasks. These are all of the tasks that we do every day just to maintain our current lifestyle. Now, unlike our neutral tasks where it's just to keep you alive and keep you clean, this can be something like working your day job, which you do in order to pay the bills. So our next category is our growth tasks. Now, basically what the growth actions are, they are tasks or actions that we're using in order to reach a goal. So think of it like all the steps that it takes to reach a goal. Those are all your growth actions or tasks. As an example, we'll take buttered toast, right? You want to make yourself some toast. So what you would do would be you would get your toast. That would be a growth, because getting that toast is taking a step in order to reach that goal. Then you would put it in the toaster. That would be another step. Then you would put the butter on. And those would all be growth tasks. Now, using that same example, you can think of that bread and butter and how they got into your house, right? So you worked your day job, which is in the maintenance category, in order to be able to buy that bread and butter. And then by taking that butter and putting it in the fridge, that's a maintenance task because you're using that to maintain the quality of the butter. I hope you guys are able to understand kind of what I'm trying to get to. And moving forward, we'll get into our last category of positive tasks, which is actually my favorite. And this is the category I like to call our evolution category, or evolve for short. Now, out of all the categories we went over so far, from positive, neutral, negative, and even these maintenance, growth, and evolution tasks are definitely the hardest to explain, and I'll be honest, they're pretty difficult to understand at first as well. So I'm going to do my best job at trying to explain what these are, but like the other categories, this is going to really depend on your own circumstance on what you would categorize as an evolutionary task versus a growth task. So when you think of evolutionary tasks, you want to think of the word exponential. You may have remembered the term exponential back from your high school math class. Personally, I probably wasn't paying attention during that. But basically, when you're talking about something that's exponential, you're increasing the rate at which you do it or at which you progress, and you can apply it to many different things that you do throughout the day. So to give you guys an example of an evolutionary task would be if you're working on a certain project and now you're taking time out of your day to go and research in order to get that project done more efficiently, more quickly, and increase the overall quality. For example, if you were working on writing a long paper on the computer, right? Your goal would be to complete the paper, and typing your paper would be a growth task because it's constantly working towards that goal. So what would an evolutionary task be in this scenario? Well, here's the answer. So the whole idea for an evolutionary task, like we said, was you're increasing the rate at which you progress. So how could you increase the rate at which you type that paper? Boom, you learn how to type faster, right? So an example of an evolutionary task in this scenario would be going online and taking a typing class. Now obviously if you're already a proficient typer, this may not really apply to you, but if you're a relatively slow typer or you're even at the finger pecking stage, taking that online typing class would drastically improve the rate at which you're able to type that paper and reach your end goal. Because if you're constantly typing at your normal speed, you're going to have basically a set time in which you're able to type that paper. But by taking a little bit of extra time at the beginning and learning how to type faster, you'll actually be able to shorten the amount of time that it takes you to type that paper. And now this is going to be a visual example that will help you visualize how each of these categories may look on your journey to your end goal. So again, on the topic of high school math, we're going to be bringing our old friend slope into the equation. So the definition of slope is really just the gradient of a line, but that doesn't really help explain it, because if you don't really know what gradient means, then you'd still be lost. So I'm going to try and take it and give you guys my own definition of a slope. Now this may not be the perfect definition of slope in math, but this is how I'll be using it to explain these three types of progress. So the way we'll kind of see slope is sort of like the rate that it takes you to reach your goal. So what a maintenance task may look like when you're thinking of it in a slope manner would just be a horizontal line. Right there, you see it's just a flat line that moves horizontally across my whiteboard. So now in context, say you are here where this star is, right? And now your goal is right here where this big circle is, right? Now, if you were just doing maintenance tasks all day, if all of your positive tasks throughout the day just consisted of maintenance tasks and didn't have any growth or evolutionary aspects to them, then if your goal is right here and you are right here, these tasks would just push your progress along like this, and you would not reach that goal. As you can see, that goal is way above you. Now to move on to our growth tasks, our growth tasks are just going to be a line with an incline. Now you can see that that slope does not change. It constantly moves at the same rate of speed. Now in a real world situation, it's not always going to be a completely flat line. It may have some dips and inclines and stuff like that, but the point is that it's taking you to that end goal at a relatively similar rate of progress. We'll use the same example as we had before, where our horizontal line is right here, and I'll actually just put a big M underneath it, so you know that's what the maintenance task would look like on a graph. And now we'll draw our growth line to our goal, which in a perfect world would look like this. But obviously, like I said before, there may be ups and downs, and it may fluctuate, but we're really not looking to track that at this moment in time. So now that we've gone over our maintenance slope, our growth slope, what does our evolutionary task slope look like? Well, if you guys remember from before, you'll remember I brought up the word exponential. So now exponential, it's at an increasing rate of change, right? So your line should look something similar to this. Now it doesn't have to be as drastic. It may be longer, it may even be shorter. And actually I'll redraw it right over here. I'll draw it right here so you guys can see. Because these tasks are some of the most important tasks that we will be doing throughout our day. And the reason for that is that they not only push you further along on your journey to progress, but they make that timeline to progress shorter. So it actually kind of brings that end goal a little bit closer to you, and in a way shortens your journey to success. So we had some technical difficulties between the battery died and then the SD card's memory got full, but let's get back into the video. And now the amount of time that you spend on these evolutionary tasks throughout your day again really depends on your circumstances. As an example, if you're going down an entrepreneurial path, your idea with these three different types of progress is you're looking to streamline and outsource most of your maintenance tasks. You want to be spending the smallest amount of your time actually doing stuff just to maintain your current lifestyle, because typically most of the tasks that would be categorized into the maintenance category would be stuff that you can either outsource and pay other people to do, or things that you can find different solutions in order to streamline and make the maintenance category take up the smallest percentage of your pie chart. Then on the entrepreneurial example, the tasks in your growth category, at a more advanced stage, you'll be able to outsource these, hopefully, and be able to pay other people to do them. But say that's not in the cards, you would want to take these growth tasks and find a way to fully optimize and streamline your growth tasks so that, again, they'll take up a smaller percentage of your pie chart. Now, it's probably not going to be as drastic as your maintenance category, and your growth category will probably take up the biggest percentage of this pie chart. But at the end of the day, in order to fully optimize your output as an entrepreneur, you're really looking to take your evolutionary and make it the biggest possible portion of your pie chart as you can. That way you're spending more time researching, learning new skills, and finding better ways to do things. That way you can progress faster. And that brings us on to a really important idea, which is the idea of time and how limited it is. You see, a huge reason why we're doing all this pie chart and data tracking and analysis is because everybody on earth, every other human, literally everybody has 24 hours in a day. That's it, no exceptions. So by taking steps to actually look at how we spend our time, and then later on in future episodes, we'll be going over how you can analyze and actually use this data to evolve. That's going to give you a huge upper hand against anybody that you'd be competing against. And in the case that you're not actually competing against a person, you'll be much more efficient in actually trying to track down and achieve these goals. So in short, we all have 24 hours. The only difference is how we spend it. And that is why we're taking time to actually look at how we spend our time. And in the next episode, we'll be going over different tools and strategies you can use in order to collect this data. And then in the episode after that, we'll take everything we've learned throughout this section and actually go over how you can analyze it in order to start becoming more efficient and evolve the way you work and how you spend your time. So before this video is over, here's a quick recap. So we have our different types of progress, right? In the previous video, we went into 3 main categories that you can split your tasks and action to: negative, neutral, and positive. And in this video, we learned about how you can then further break down your positive category into different types of progress, which are maintenance, growth, evolve. Again, maintenance tasks are used to maintain your current lifestyle. Growth, those are all the tasks you do in order to achieve a certain goal. And the evolutionary actions and tasks, those are things that you do in order to increase the rate at which you progress. So just a quick example on the pie chart before we end this video. Say right now you're spending about 50% of your time just doing tasks in order to maintain your lifestyle. So your pie chart, here you go, you have your maintenance tasks. And now say you're working on a couple big projects and you're spending about 40% of your positive time working towards those projects. You're completing tasks in order to move along the timeline towards reaching that goal. Then you draw about that. That might not be perfect. I'm not completely doing the math on these circles, but it probably would look something like this. So now you have your growth and your maintenance. And now with the rest of that 10% of time that you have in your positive category, you're working on evolutionary tasks. You're reading, you're on YouTube looking up new strategies and tricks in order to be a better achiever. So here's your little pie right here. You've got this tiny little slice, and that is your evolutionary category. So now this is the circle where you are right now. And in a future episode, we'll be going over these different circles and how you can slowly work on adjusting the sizes of these different slices of the pie in order to improve the way you spend your time, evolve the way you work, and therefore increasing your overall work output. So guys, I know like the last video, this was a little bit of a longer episode, so I'd like to thank and congratulate you guys for making it all the way through this video. I really hope everything that you're viewing here and in future episodes will help you along your path to success by learning the art of strategic goal setting. So guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. It really means a lot just to have you guys here. And if you found something informational, you enjoyed the video, or you just want to help support this channel, please consider smashing that like button down below. And to make sure you don't miss the next episode, episode 6, where we'll be going over different tools and strategies that you can use in order to actually collect this data, then you might want to consider subscribing as well. And by turning on post notifications, when that video is dropped, you'll be right there and you'll get right to learning. Again, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. And don't forget, grind don't stop.
You've got to embrace the grind. Have a hustle hard mentality. Believe in yourself. Never give up. You've got to eat, sleep, and breathe the dream. I believe